Welcome to the Krista Escamilla Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Krista Escamilla Show. I'm so happy that you chose us to spend some time with today because you are in for a treat. We have a very special guest today with us. I do want to thank, before we get started, our sponsors. I want to thank Rig ID Workwear and JoinCapClub.com and Midland Cap Company. Support those local businesses if you can. So I was telling you about a special guest, and here she is. Leticia Reinke is with us today. And Leticia, it is so wonderful to have you sitting here in this chair and not just out in the community, but actually getting to see you here in person and hear your story because it's a good one.
Thank you. It is. I have a story.
You do?
Yes, there's a lot of chapters in my book right now.
Well, I can't wait to hear it. Leticia is a breast cancer survivor. She is, of course, number one, she is an amazing wife and mom. And she is also a businesswoman who works in the medical field and has done so for several years and is now starting a new chapter. And so I can't wait to hear that first. But because it is October and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I really haven't heard your whole story, I want to talk a little bit about how you discovered you had breast cancer and take us through, what this life-changing journey was for you.
Okay. Well, it is life-changing. Some people say that it will define you, and I think it does because it's part of your story. It's that definition of who you are.
Right.
So when I was 39 years old, a year away from being 40 and when mammograms are supposed to happen with everyone, I had had 4 kids. Everything was going great. I noticed there was something wrong, and I ignored it. And I was in doctor's offices all day, every day. I still ignored it.
Right, because you were in pharmaceutical sales at the time, right?
Yes. Okay. But I had lost a lot of weight on purpose. I had lost 50 pounds, which at the end of the day was a blessing because my oncologist said we probably may have not found this if I wouldn't have lost that weight at the time.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But I noticed...
everything happens for a reason.
It does. And I noticed there was something wrong. And Christmas came, Christmas went. Brian and I went on a trip, and that's when I really felt a lump. Wow. So we were out of town. I felt a lump. I didn't say anything to him. It had been after Christmas. When I got back in January, still kind of ignored it a little bit. And, that's just common because you're like, okay, there's something there, but I don't want it to be there.
Right.
It's going to go away. Everything's going to be fine. Well, it never did. And I was in an office talking to a nurse, and I said, I felt this lump. She was like, hey, let's just go in, take a quick look. I'm sure there's nothing.
Right.
And it went from, I'm sure there's nothing, to, yes, it was something. It was a lot. At first, we thought it was stage 0 breast cancer, was what I was told when they looked at it. And then it ended up, through the treatment, through the biopsies and everything, I was at a stage 3.
Wow. What did that diagnosis feel like when you heard that number go from 0 to 3?
You don't remember. You hear the words and then you don't remember so many things. And that's why I think for anybody that is going to a doctor that, might have some suspicious of anything, take someone with you because you're not going to remember what they tell you. You just kind of blank out.
That is good advice for any doctor's appointment because you're right. When you're hearing those words, it's almost like wah, 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 wah. Like you just, because you're trying to process it, but you can't. So you don't hear anything after the diagnosis.
Absolutely. Right. Yes. But, I did the mammogram, I did a biopsy, went straight into surgery like 2 weeks later to do a double mastectomy. I chose that. They, at the time, were trying to be a little more conservative. I wanted to be more aggressive. They were like, it's just stage 0. You don't need to do a double mastectomy. I said, no, we're doing a double mastectomy. Had all of the support of my husband, my family, a lot of friends who were in the medical field. Yes, be aggressive. Yeah. And thankfully, when they sent the tumor off after the double mastectomy, that's when we found out that one, had spread to my lymph nodes. One, it was just the type of cancer that it was very aggressive. And my doctor, when I went, I got treated here, had my surgery here in Midland, had all of my chemo here in Midland, but I did go on the advice of my oncologist here, he wanted me to go up to Dallas and go to Baylor and see a women's specialist that just dealt with breast cancer. Everybody was on the same page. And I liked that I was just getting confirmation after confirmation. And for some people, that's not the same case. For some people, somebody says A, somebody says B, and that's okay. Just go with what feels right for you.
Listen to your gut.
And where it feels right. I was thankful at the time. I was 39.
Yeah.
My youngest was 3. I had a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, and then 9 and 11. And so
you
they
were in the
were
busy age.
little.
I mean, those are the busy ages.
They were.
Those are nonstop, morning to night. They need you at all times.
Yes.
How did you transition at that point from going, okay, I am mom, because I know your heart and mom is number one on your list, to, oh wait, I got to take care of myself now, because that's a hard thing at that point of motherhood.
I had taken care of so many people, so many friends, and I remember my friend telling me, you have to let people take care of you.
Yeah.
And that was the hardest thing. Was we learned, and we, as in Brian and I, learned to be humble when people wanted to offer support and wanted to offer help. I was always the one giving the help and giving the support.
Right.
I had never had it given to me, and at this point I had to slow down. I had to cure myself, and that was rest. That was go through the treatments, do all of that, do what's right, eat the way they tell you, drink the way they tell you, so that you're doing everything right, but yet you still have all these little kids that are at home. And we tried to make it to them where just life went on for them. We had so many people step in to where it did. Things did slow down in a way that they weren't involved in extracurricular activities like they had been. We just couldn't do it all.
Right.
And we had to say, we can't do it all, and they're going to be okay.
Right.
And now when I talk to them, they don't remember it.
Right. They were so young.
Yeah,
and,
Brooke does. She remembers it. Lincoln and Blair don't. They were so young. But I remember telling them, and I try to tell them, there weren't the resources back then that there are now. You couldn't go online, and I went to Barnes and Noble and tried to get so many books like how do you talk to your kids, and
yeah, you couldn't Google it.
No.
I mean, just the information was not there.
Right, it wasn't there like it is now. And the one thing, I remember telling them Mommy has cancer, and Brooke looked at me and she said, "Are you going to die?" And so that
one
was
of the hardest questions to ever answer.
Yes, but that's when I knew, no, I'm not going to die, because so many people had told me, no, you're not. This is just another curve in the road, a curveball, however you want to say it. You're going to be okay. Yeah. Thankfully we have the medications we do now. We have technology. Everything is out there that years before I was diagnosed, you had breast cancer, and it was almost a death sentence. But now it's not. Now it's okay. Now you need to do this.
Right.
And you do.
And you did the things.
And
there is a happy ending.
Yes.
I love a happy ending.
Yes.
I love it. But I know that the journey to get there was difficult. What was the toughest thing that you remember? Because I know, sometimes our memories that, from that far back, but I know there was one thing that I'm sure you remember the most from that time that affected you and changed your life. What was that one thing?
How people helped us. I will never forget sitting in my living room, and people had signed up to bring meals and everything, and somebody brought us in, a casserole or something, and then they looked around the house, they left, they said, "We'll be right back." And they came back, and this was one of Brian's players' mother. We just had such a good support system because he was a baseball coach at the time. And she walked in with cases of cups and disposable dishware and, just the paper plates and stuff. And that's when it hit me like, wow. People are going to support you. And my advice to people on the other side is do that for somebody.
Yes.
The people who are fighting the fight right now, take care of yourself. Do what's right for you. Slow down. Yeah. That's what it taught me, was slow down.
Right.
And rest and let your body heal. But then for the people that are out there that have somebody that's going through this, be there. And it doesn't have to be in a lot of ways. It can be through a text message, a call, because there's so many times when you're sitting there and you're just in bed and it's been, 6-8 hours and nobody's called and you're just tired of watching TV or doing
Right.
something. And so that text message that would come through, that I'm thinking of you, the call, those things. So if you know of somebody, pick up the phone. If you think of them, there's a reason you're thinking of them.
Right.
Let them know. Give them a quick text, a phone call, whatever it is. Just be that support system. I think that's what it taught me, is both ends.
Right.
It taught me empathy, how like I can be just more empathetic to people,
Right.
because they were to me.
Right. That's beautiful. Take us now from chemo treatment to finding out that the cancer is gone or in remission. Take us through that step.
That was, so right after I had my surgery, they said everything's out, but then you go through chemo and they're like, okay, you go through your scans and it was gone. They tell you it's gone. And so you're excited, but then they say, but you have to come back for checkups every 6 months.
I'm still scary.
I'm still going for checkups. I leave tomorrow for my checkup, my 6-month checkup. And then that's when you always wonder, is it
Right.
back? Did I do everything okay? So even 11 years later, the fight's never over. And that's why I think I saw the pink ribbon before cancer as just something else.
Right.
Everybody wears pink the month of October,
Right.
There's this whole thing. And then when I was diagnosed, I went, okay, this does matter.
Mm-hmm.
The pink ribbon does matter. It is somebody's fighting, somebody lost the fight, or somebody's, you're just going through it with so many people. 1 in 8 women get diagnosed with breast cancer, and that's a lot.
That is
A lot of my friends have, and they've been younger in age, and they're fighting, and so age does not discriminate on anything.
Right, because you weren't even at the age where they say have the yearly mammograms
No,
yet.
no.
So let's talk about that message that you want everyone to hear today, because I think it is so important. We, like you said, we see the pink ribbon, but if you haven't been through the journey that you've been through, it doesn't mean the same, right?
Right.
So what would you like to say to everyone to remind them, or their mothers or their grandmothers, to get their mammogram? Because
Right.
I think often, and we all do it, we all get in that, I'm fine, I have so much to do right now, I don't have time to go in and have that 2 hours block of my day.
Right.
What would you say to everyone to get them to go?
I think prevention is such a key. And prevention means going to the doctor.
Yeah.
And it means getting that yearly checkup. And I know I've talked to hundreds probably of women and even men. I mean, and they
Right,
say,
because men get breast cancer.
yes, and
Yeah.
or any type of cancer. My husband was diagnosed with thyroid cancer 2 years after I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So, and who would have thought that? But there's all types of cancer. So, just go get a checkup. And I know that it's scary, it's intimidating, it's costly. Insurance helps. There's so many programs out there that
Right.
can help you, but just that yearly checkup to know that something's good. And then when you are of the age of 40, or if you notice something's wrong, or if you have a family history, of course, I did not have a family history. So that was the other thing that was different with me, but is go to the doctor.
Right. Give me a high five. You're a survivor times 1,000 right here.
Well.
I mean, to have back-to-back diagnoses, and you and then your husband,
Yes.
and raising your family, and really just going through life-changing, year after year moments. You really have such a story of strength and perseverance. What would you say to someone that is maybe getting that diagnosis right now, or just recently received it? What would you say to them that will help them get through this time?
Your attitude makes a world of difference.
So true.
It is just, your reaction to anything that happens to you, good or bad, sets the tone to who you are and who you will be and how you will get through it. So be positive, stay positive. Yes, it is the scariest thing in the world, but having that positive attitude, smiling, just surrounding yourself with people that will lift you up. And I know to this day, people still tell me, how can you always be so positive? How can you always just have a smile on your face? And
'Cause you do. You
everything.
always
and
do.
I'm just like, well, the other choice is not good.
Right.
So, it's either this or that. And I mean, it's just, it has gotten me through being just smiling, going, I'm going to be okay. And there's going to be times when you're okay.
Right.
It's not everybody else is okay. We all have a completely different story to tell. Our journeys have been I don't think anybody's is exactly the same.
No one. Right.
But you're okay.
Yes. Oh, so good. Okay, I went past the time. Sorry. It's time for quote of the day. I just want to hear more and more and more, but we have to stop real quick and hear a quote. And then I want to hear your favorite quote after this one.
Let's see. I have so many wise.
What card did you get? You
Wise.
got the what? Because you are wise.
Oh, well, I don't know. Oh, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Swimming, swimming. Dory.
Yes. One of the best lines from a Disney or Pixar movie out there.
And that
what does that mean to you?
I mean, to me, because of what we're talking about or anything else, I mean, I've gone through job layoffs. I've gone through things that have not been good. And you just have to keep swimming and swimming and swimming and swim with a smile.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Because that is my motto in life. You have to just keep swimming. I mean, you really do, because there's going to be, highs and lows. We do something at the end of each day called high and low with our kids at the dinner table. And there's highs and there's lows.
Yes.
But guess what? You're not going to stay there. There's going to be highs again. And so, but it's important to just keep swimming. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote, I think, is a Bible verse, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through God who strengthens me. So
This one right here?
that one right there.
This one right here?
Because I know I
love
can.
this. This is my favorite. Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah.
why I feel like we're kindred spirits here. I mean, I just want to cry. I mean, I look at you and I'm just like, oh, you just make me feel so happy and so joyful and so inspired, because we do all go through these moments in life, and you just have to do it with a smile on your face and have that positive attitude.
Yes.
So I love that is your favorite.
And it's not always there. I have down times. Mental health is so important to people, and when you have to just recognize it and seek out the appropriate help and care for that, because that will get you through. Brian and I went through counseling on the advice of one of my doctors, because he could see that I was depressed. So even though I say keep smiling, I mean, it does get to you, because you're alone so many times. There's some lonely times, and that can get to you. You can have those pity parties, you know.
Just don't stay there. This is what
don't stay there. You have to.
It's okay
put
to
your big girl panties on and go back out. You know, that's the thing is always just getting up and waking up. And to me, it was. I always wanted to just feel good. So to me, feeling good meant, okay, I was going to put on makeup even though I had no hair. And I would wear a wig for a while. And then I remember my daughter, I was like, oh, this is so hot. I'd just throw it off, when I would get in the house. And she'd go, Mom, you look beautiful. Just own it. And after that, I was like, oh,
she's
this
right.
is how she sees me, this 9-year-old, and is telling me to own it. Okay, I'll own it. I'll rock it, and and some people can and some people don't want to, and that's okay. Do what's good for you. You do you.
I love that. And I think that is important, because mental health is so important. It's okay to have those down days, because like you said, we all have them. I just always say, let's just not stay there. Let's honor it in that moment, and then go, okay, tomorrow's going to be a better day. And I'm going to get out there and put that makeup on and smile and go. I always tell the kids, go tackle the day. We're going to go tackle the day.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I love that. Let's switch gears a little bit. And thank you for sharing your story, because I know it is emotional, and it's hard to revisit, right? Those moments. But I think we all learn from each other's life experiences. And I hope that someone out there is going to go, you know what? I am going to go get that mammogram, even though I am 38 and I feel like something is a little off and I haven't, wanted to acknowledge that it could be there. Go, you know what? It's okay to go get checked, even if it is earlier than that 40, because it happens at all ages. And like you said, 1 in 8 women are diagnosed with breast cancer awareness. So if you are going through it, we're praying for you. We're there for you. I know Leticia is a wonderful, wealth of knowledge on this. If you ever need to reach out to her, I know she would answer your question. So, because that's her heart. Yes. Let's talk a little bit about some other life things. And you are an amazing mom and businesswoman, and tackling both of those at the same time, I know it can be tough during the years, and very difficult at times. What is it that has really, let's talk about, that journey now, being a businesswoman. You've made now a career change. You were in pharmaceutical sales, and now let's talk about what you're doing.
I'm in medical device sales now.
Which is so cool.
Yes, it is. It is. It's something that I've always looked at people and gone, oh, that would be really neat. And I actually had interviewed with this company that I'm with now, several years ago, and it just wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
It wasn't, the timing wasn't right, but now the timing is right. So, I'm with Zoe Medical now, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And, I'm going to have a direct impact. I guess I could have a direct impact on people and just
save their life,
what they're going through. Yes, with the Life Vest that I'll be promoting.
Right. And the Life Vest, you were telling me a little bit about it before we sat down here. It is something that they wear, and it can actually save their life if their heart starts. And I am not a doctor, so I don't even want to try to sound like one throughout a medical term. But if their heart is failing, it'll shock their heart and bring them back.
It's a defibrillator, so
that
you
is
see
amazing.
them, around. But this is something you wear if you are at risk for a sudden cardiac arrest. Wow. This is something the doctor will prescribe for you to wear externally if you can't have something, because there are internal that they can implant internally, but there's sometimes a waiting period, or just people aren't candidates for surgery. So this is something that they can do that will monitor them and will, yes, it will shock them and bring their heart back if they are at risk and if it starts failing.
That's incredible. I mean, you were saving lives before with pharmaceutical sales, but now you are saving lives. This is like on a whole new level. That is, and I can't think of anyone better for the job. You're going to do great, and you'll be here in the Midland Odessa region, which is fantastic. What is the number one business tool that has helped you the most in business? Through the years in pharmaceutical sales, managing 4 kids and a husband, and your job. What's the number one business tool?
I would say trying to stay as organized as possible. That is key to just time management, because you have your kids that are doing this, but you have your work that requires this, and then you have your community service that you're volunteering for, and that requires this, and your family and everything else. So time management, I'm not always the best at it, but keeping a calendar for me has always just been important. I still
I'm right there with you.
I have
the hard
copy
all
stacked up.
Do you keep them year
yes.
after year? I do too. I do too.
I don't know why, but I figured the other day my
either.
kids are going to go through this and look at it, and we just lost my dad.
I'm so
the end
sorry.
of May. Thank you, but he lived a great life and is singing with the angels up in heaven, and so we are so just happy that he's there. But I thought when he left, there wasn't a lot that of stuff he left behind written. And so maybe that's why I'm saving these for my kids, and they can go through it and go, oh my gosh, mom had a lot going on that week on that year.
Was a busy day.
Yes.
Well, that's so funny, because I often think that too, because I save all mine, and I'm like, they're not going to care that I had to take them to a doctor's appointment at 9, and then we had to get them back to school at 10, and then I had to go to work, and then I'm thinking they're not going to care, but they might. You never know.
They will.
They might.
I think we have some pretty good kids.
we do. We have some amazing kids.
Yes.
Yeah, I know yours are. They are awesome, and I know I love mine to pieces. I could talk about them all day, but they would be like, "Mom, stop."
Absolutely.
But I think that is important. But in business, you have to find what works for you. And I know a lot of people now use technology. I just can't do it. I have to have.
That's my backup.
I have to have my day planner.
My phone is my backup. My written is, but that's just how I grew up. And yes, I know I had worked with a manager, and her phone was her everything. She had everything there, and I could call her and ask her for something, and she would be like, "Hold on, click, click, click. Okay, send it to me." So I know that works for her.
Too. Right.
That's not how I was, I guess, trained.
Right. I'm right there with you. Okay, let's talk motherhood, because there's a lot of moms watch our show. Hi, moms, we love you. You're the best. You're doing great. What advice would you give to moms that are going through the journey? We're both in that 4-kid boat, and that was. There were some busy times.
Oh my goodness,
Now it's a lot more relaxed. I always say, this is what I tell moms of littles. I say, right now you're in that stage where it's physically demanding, right? You're exhausted by the end of the day. But as they become teenagers and adults, it's mentally demanding.
It's emotional.
It is emotional. So it's like completely different.
Yes.
So I know you're exhausted and you're going to get through it, but then you're going to have to switch the brain and go,
Right.
okay, this is more, how can I help them here in this stage of life?
Yes. I say, and this is one thing that my breast cancer journey taught me, is don't sweat the small stuff. If the dishes are dirty and you don't have time to get to them, okay.
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's important to make your bed every day. I know that there's studies and everything about that, and I've tried. I've been really good this last year. I'm proud of myself. But
Good job.
There were times when none of the beds were made. The laundry was piled
Right.
up. Now the kids do their own laundry. I'm like, I won the lottery.
Yeah, like singing. Oh, this
Yes.
is amazing.
But it's those little things. Is just let it go.
Right.
Be there, be present for your child. That's what they want. I don't think that they really care. They're not going to remember
Right.
if everything was just neat. And I know
No, they're
some of
not.
our personalities are that way, and we have to have it that way. And you walk into a house and it's a lot, and you're like, ah. But if you can, that's the thing, is just let the little things go, because at the end of the day, it's the bigger picture, and it's how did you feel? How did you make somebody else feel that day?
Yeah.
And it could be your child, not just somebody that you're talking to, but how did you make your son or your daughter feel when you reacted to them? Back
Right.
to the whole reaction
Right.
thing. I
Be
think
present.
that's just,
Be present
yes.
with them instead of distracted on the dishes or
Right.
the laundry and right.
Right,
Oh,
right.
that's.
And
I
I
say I
think-
wish I could go back and do that a little more when they were little. I feel like I'm better at it now, and maybe that's just our our age. And
We're older.
we're old. No, I'm just kidding. We're not young. We're not old. We are young. Age is just a number.
Al is the youngest one in the room.
Yes, you are, sweetie. But I think that is good advice. Is just to really be there and don't sweat the small stuff. We have something called Question of the Day.
Okay.
So you're going to pull out a question,
All right.
and we get to
Proud.
Oh, the proud card.
What is the strongest? Oh, what is your strongest personal trait?
Oh, good question.
Oh goodness, I have to think about myself on this one.
I know.
Let me see.
I know it's tough. We're always not thinking about ourselves.
I mean, I've been talking about it. I think my positivity.
Yes.
I think because that's what people always say to me, is that you're positive. I've always seen the glass half full. I just, when somebody tells me something, I'm like, okay, well, we'll look at the brighter side of this, not the darker side.
Yes.
And that's just, I think that's my strongest trait, because it's gotten me through a lot. Got me through, surgery, chemo, radiation, reconstructive surgery,
Brian's cancer, and then
Yes.
right. I mean, just the positivity.
Yes.
I think that really, and there's probably studies on this. Once again, not a doctor. Dr. Krista, no MD. That's what our kids call me. But I'm sure there are studies on this, that having that positive mindset will help when going through chemo and when going through these difficult times, for
Yes.
sure. So
It
I love
is,
that. I
it
think
is.
that is definitely one of your strongest traits. You have many, but that
well,
is
thank you.
definitely one. We're going to play something called Favorite Things, because I love to hear what everyone's favorite things are. And
Okay.
are you a lifelong Midlander? Did you grow up
No,
here?
I came in '94 after I graduated from Baylor.
Okay, you got here a little faster than I did. I got
did.
here in '98. So
I remember the first time I saw you, I think, or remember, you were doing cartwheels.
was I really?
Yes.
Why does this not surprise me? I
Your
love
kids will be
cartwheels.
so
Oh,
proud.
they will be like, "Really, Mom? You were in your 20s doing cartwheel?" I love cartwheel. I was a gymnast growing.
Yes, yes.
I can't believe that's the first time.
I don't remember
I
where
don't
we
even know
were,
why would I be
But
doing
that's what I
cartwheels?
remember about you.
That is
we were in the
hilarious.
backyard, just like having. Yeah, it was social time, and
Great.
we were doing.
I was doing cartwheels. I'm so embarrassed right now, but I do love to cartwheel. I still will try to do one from time to time.
I've never done one.
You should
so.
do one. It's fun. Get your heart rate up. That and headstands. Headstands are fun too. But anyway, that is so funny. That's your first memory of me. Oh, and I'm
Okay.
a little embarrassed.
Favorite things,
But anyway,
sorry.
favorite things. Tell me your favorite thing about Midland.
Oh goodness. When you go out and travel, and this is to some people going to go, oh my gosh, but how you can see everything in the sunsets and the sunrises. Because we love to travel. I love to be in different places, but I love a sunset and a sunrise, and you get some pretty amazing ones out here.
They're the best.
That you can't get. I mean, you can be in a city and you're like, where's the sun? Yeah. Where's the moon? Because there's just so much around you.
That's so true.
Or trees, and everything has its place. But yes, we are wide open, but that wide openness gives us so many other things that other places don't have.
For sure. Favorite restaurant?
Oh, right now, any steakhouse.
Okay.
I love a steak.
Love some steak. Yes.
So I can't point one because it just depends what city I'm in.
Okay.
But a good steakhouse.
A good steak.
Yes.
Okay. Favorite coffee shop?
Starbucks.
And favorite coffee?
I get a decaf, skinny, venti, caramel macchiato upside down.
Ooh, I'm going to have to try that.
Yes.
I'm going to have to try. That sounds amazing.
So upside down, all that means is they mix it up for you.
Okay.
So you're not having to stir it.
You don't have to stir it. You learn something new every day. I didn't even know you could do an upside down drink. Yes. That is awesome.
And skinny just means they put all the low fat stuff, and they won't put any in the sugar free. They use all sugar free stuff.
Okay. Favorite book?
Favorite book? Oh, I think one that has really impacted me was, and this is because I met him and I got to go through his classes, was Zig Ziglar's books.
Oh, love Zig Ziglar.
And he has a book on selling, and I think that's when I learned just how to be me.
Okay, very good. Favorite song?
Oh. You're asking me some really good questions, Krista. I mean, I go to Journey, but that's my kids' favorite songs.
Don't Stop Believing is mine.
I know.
I mean,
yeah. That's a good one. That's. I mean, if it's coming on, I'm singing it.
At the top of the lugs. Yes. Oh, that chorus part. Oh, yeah, that gets everybody going. Yes. I love it. How about favorite podcast?
Favorite podcast? I don't listen to many. Okay. And honestly, the one I've been listening to is yours.
Yay! That's the best answer anyway.
Thank you.
I mean,
and I
appreciate it.
You know, there's several out there, and I'll listen to just tidbits of it. But I love how you're bringing the community people in here, and I just get to learn about so many things and so many people, and it's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. Well, that's what I love about it. If you know me, I want everyone to have live their best life, and I want everyone to find the joy in every single day. And I also want everyone to learn from each other's stories, because I feel like you can learn so much. And when you're scrolling on Facebook, or say we see each other at a community event, it's hi, hug, but you know what I mean? It's like, how are the kids? That's it. And it's real quick. And we really don't get to hear everybody's story. And I feel like everyone has a beautiful one to share. And that's what I'm loving about spending this time with you. Like today, I'm just loving this, and I don't want it to end. And I know Al's going to be in here going, okay, it's been a half an hour. And I'm like, no, I don't want it to end, because we do get to spend more time together and really learn from each other and enjoy and really just talk about things that are important to you. And I love getting to hear that. So thanks for pointing that out. And I hope it's your favorite too, whoever's watching.
It's good.
Let me think. Final favorite child. No, I'm kidding.
All my girls would say Lincoln. He's the baby boy.
Oh,
yes,
that's
I mean
funny.
That's kind of the family joke. So
that is so funny. Well, it's so funny to hear the kids say who they think is the favorite. And I always tell them, you are all my favorite.
They are.
And I mean it, but from the bottom of my heart, you are all my favorite, because I just love them all so much.
I tell them you're my favorite oldest, you're my favorite second child, you're my favorite middle child.
Yes, favorite third, favorite fourth. Yes, we do the same thing.
Mom, that's not fair. Who's your favorite? And then I look at them and who's your favorite parent?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we at the end of every show, and are we running out of time? See, I told you he was going to be in to tell us. I said we're the half an hour mark is coming up, and we're loving this conversation today. If you are just joining us and maybe coming in, we are sitting here today with my friend Leticia Reinke, and she is just, besides being a superwoman, she is a breast cancer survivor who works in the medical field, wife and mom of 4, and just an awesome, inspirational person, because I love anybody that makes you feel good, and you're one of those that just makes you feel good. good.
Oh,
and
thank
I think
you.
so. I think that is just such a beautiful trait to have, and it goes back to that positivity. So keep doing what you're doing. You're doing such an amazing job in our community, and I'm thankful to know you personally, and thankful that you are here spreading your gifts and joy. So
Thank you. Thank you.
At the end
Yes.
of the show, we always talk about a nonprofit organization, and then we will make a donation on behalf of our show. And is there one that maybe you want to talk about and shed a little light on here today?
Well, because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I am on the board of Pink the Basin. So I will choose Pink the Basin. And what Pink the Basin does here locally in the Permian Basin is we raise money throughout the year and then give hospital grants to provide free mammograms to anybody who can't afford it. So the patient can go, they're going to go to their doctor, and then if they cannot afford it, you do a really quick, easy application through the hospital. And Pink the Basin has, I don't know the number, but I'm sure we've been a pretty important part in a lot of people's lives.
Absolutely, I know it. And if you go to your luncheon every year, like I do, you see the lives impacted.
Yes,
and
yes.
there's so many, and you really are changing lives and saving lives, and helping people during that time where you don't want to think of the financial burden, right?
So that's so hard.
I bet.
Yes, that's the one thing that the advice I was given by somebody from the American Cancer Society came to talk to me, and she said, just remember you don't budget for cancer.
It's true.
And I was like, oh, we don't.
Yeah.
And that's why any assistance, any help that you can give, that's what taught us to be humble.
Yes.
And yes.
I love that.
So,
Is there anything, Leticia, that we didn't talk about today that you were like, okay, I'm going to talk to Krista. I hope that I get this out. And you know how you're like playing it in your mind, at least I do. Like, you're like getting ready in the morning. Oh, I hope I get to say this, right? Is there anything we didn't get to talk about that you'd like to mention?
I think just pay it forward. Be a type of person where you're paying it forward. And that could just be in your own home with your kids. It could be, I love it when you go to Starbucks or HTO here locally. We have an HTO, and they're saying the person in front of you paid for your drink, And
Yes.
so that it's little things, and it could be paying it forward as hey, would you like a water?
Right.
How are you? Ask people how they are, and then listen. Because too many times hey, how are you? And okay, but they're not okay.
Right.
So
And answer honestly too. It's
Yes.
okay because I mean, I know because I've done it. Even if on those days you're not okay, go, yeah, I'm great.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. There's my alarm.
Okay. Yeah, this last year's been pretty rough for us. We've had a really rough year, and people would ask me, "How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm not okay."
I'm not okay, and that's good to
Yeah,
say that.
yeah.
It's
Or
okay to say that.
It's been a rough year, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay, we're praying for you,
Yeah.
and thank you." And that's how you can pay it forward: is pray for people.
Don't you love
Just
that?
let them know you're there for someone. Be
yes.
someone for somebody.
I'll never forget this one time I was out on my walk, and I think it was during COVID. I think it was during that time. And Dr. Henry, and many of you have been maybe a patient of his through his orthodontic work, but Dr. Henry asked my husband and I, how can I pray for you today? I thought, that is one of the nicest things that
Yes.
you can ask someone is
Yes.
how can I pray for you today?
Absolutely.
And they mean it, and they will, and those prayers are felt. So I love that. That is
Yes.
great. So pay it forward. Yes. I don't want it to end. Can we keep talking?
We'll have a special 1 hour special.
That's right. Special 1 hour special today with my friend. Real quick, I always love hearing a mom hack, and then we're wrapping it up.
I have a question.
Oh, Al has a question.
I've always thought Leticia should run for, state senate or congresswoman or something.
He has always told me that. He's like, I think she should run for something and be in charge of something for our community and our country. And
Yes.
you have. So would you
are
ever
not
consider?
the only one. I have been.
Would you ever consider
approached.
running?
I would.
Yay!
I
So you're not
absolutely
wrong,
would,
sweetie.
yes.
You're right on it.
I mean, and that's just part of. I think I've gone through so many things for so many reasons, and that would be one of them. So yes,
Well, you got our vote.
thank you.
Yes, for sure.
I'll raise the money whenever you're ready.
Okay, we're almost done. What's your number one mom hack? Everyone has a mom hack, right? That has helped them in motherhood. What is your number one or parenting hack?
Enable your kids to help you
Okay.
in the house.
Where were you? Where were you 15 years ago when I needed to hear that?
let them help you clean and vacuum and teach them, to do their laundry and they're going to mess it up and they're not going to do it the way you
And
want to
that's
do
okay.
it, and that's okay.
Good mom
just
hack.
because you're teaching them so many things and you're just forming them. So if you have kids, and if you don't have kids, and there might be a neighbor, there might be, just a friend, and let them come in and help with whatever you want. But just let people be people.
I love it. Thank you so much,
You're
Leticia.
welcome.
This was so much fun. Of course, if anyone wants to reach you for any, any questions or anything about your breast cancer journey, how can they reach out to you?
I am on Instagram, Leticia G. Reinke, and on Facebook, Leticia Reinke.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your time, your heart, and just being you, because you are such a bright light in our community. So thank you very much. And thank you all for listening to the Krista Escamilla Show. Share this with someone you love. We want as many people to be touched by our show, and to maybe, maybe they hear that one thing that day that they needed to hear, and it can make all the difference and change their life. We are on all the podcast platforms. If you're finding us on YouTube today, thank you. We love that too. We are also on Google Play, Apple, all of them. Go find it there. Share with someone you love, and we really appreciate you doing that and hitting the subscribe button. Also, thank you to our sponsors, Rig ID, JoinCapClub.com, and Midland Cap Company. And of course, don't forget my mottos: dream big, believe in yourself, and never give up. Thanks so much for joining us again. Thank you, Leticia.
Thank you,
I enjoyed this
Krista.
time so much, and you make it a great day.